My heart's falling cold, 'cause my hands they let go. I turn away my eyes to try and find what's mine.
So at what point did you become fully convinced that this is what I'm going to do? I'm comfortable with this. I can go on. What made you what made you make that change at that point?
Yes. Well, truth of the matter is, believe it or not, even now, I wouldn't, Ayo knows me quite well. I wouldn't say, I'm not I can have a laugh, crack jokes, whatever with my friends. But I wouldn't say, I'm quite a reticent person. I wouldn't say I'm the sort of person that would willingly put themselves on stage in front of a lot of people. For lack of a better word, I don't even know if shy is the right word, but I do get nervous about doing it. So I would say even now, a lot of that still remains. And Ayo knows, because he's been to see every time he comes, an hour or two before we have to go on stage to do a show, I just can't speak to people.
Yeah.
I for about an hour, I'm just like, I can't talk. I don't really want to talk because there's just a lot of nervous energy building up. So, but that's always been the case. You know, I remember when I studied accountancy in Newcastle, and every fortnight they'd split the class up into like 3-4 different groups, and every fortnight you'd have to do a presentation in front of who are your friends, really, your classmates, they're your mates, they're friends, and talk about a set of profit and loss accounts. And I used to hate it because I used to just think, oh, I have to stand in front of my friends, I'm gonna look like a fool, you know. I just didn't like it. And that was standing in front of, they split the group into 4, so that's about 15 people.
You know the funny thing about this that I'm saying, Oyinkan, I still suffer from it, but I've become so much better because Oyinkan has taught me how to do. That's what she does, confidence and communication as a coach, and it's incredible that I'll say I obviously say I'm a confident person. I've spoken, in front of live audiences. That's not the problem, but still, I still have nerves, and honestly, I've always feel sorry for you. I remember walking into seeing you last November. I think I can't remember. I think I just came in from Atlanta just for your concert. One of I don't know which of the shows it was, but it was in London at the Palladium.
Yeah.
And I remember walking in just before you, about half an hour, coming in backstage, and you were looking, and I'm thinking, you have been doing this for over 20 years. I am still looking at you. I'm still sweating. Why are you sweating? You couldn't even say hi to me. Is that?
You're like, go.
This is somebody that's going to go and sing. I didn't have a voice. 20 minutes before. Hey, I thought he was going to be happy to see me. He was just shaking. Same thing. He's been like that for the last 20 years. Yanni must have played in front of hundreds of thousands of people. You've played arena tours. You've played small venues. You've played in front of 15,000 people, and yet you still have
even more. Yeah.
But
and I think we were going to say.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times when you have nerves, it's not because you're not good at what you do. It's because you want it to go well. You don't want anything to go wrong. And to a certain extent, it's normal and it's okay to have nerves. If you don't have nerves, that means you're not invested in it.
I agree, 100%. And this is what I have come to learn over the years.
You haven't learned it well, though, because the last time I saw you, you are still feeling.
Yeah, but I don't see it as a.
It's not a flaw.
Yeah, it's one of those. The day you stop having the nerves, I think that's when you should just quit doing it.
Yeah,
and you're right, because I've spoken to some other friends who are, my friend Charles in San Diego.
Yeah.
He's a therapist, and he tells me the same thing.
You should have come to pay me now.
Well, I didn't pay him. He was my mate.
Okay, I'll give you. Don't worry, I'll give you. I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah, but to be honest, so that's always been. But I think the thrust of what I'm trying to say is, I became sort of aware of the fact that, okay, this is happening for real, and I can do this, and I can continue doing this, there were a couple of shows that we did that were quite sort of turning points, really.
Yeah.
One was when we played at the Royal Albert Hall.
That's when Mom came for the first time.
Yeah.
And
I
came,
wanted-
yes. Yeah.
Yes. And that was that was just an amazing gig.
Yeah, it was.
And
it
a
was
few other
brilliant.
gigs
I
where
remember
we
that
played.
one. Yeah.
I remember one we played in front of like 80,000 or 90,000 people, and I can't remember which show that was. It was Gabrielle came on and sang
Right.
at that show, and so it's just one of those those moments were the moments that just made me realize that okay, it is happening. It's for real, and yeah, you feel the nerves or the sort of uncertainty or whatever.
Mhm.
But it's always, and you're right. I think that comes on because you actually it can be a double-edged sword, you know. Because
Yes.
it means you care a lot, but at the same time, you have to be careful not to care so much that it becomes a bit of a hindrance. Because I feel sometimes you can care too much, and then it starts tripping over into.
Yes, you need.
In a way, it's
yes.
like a reverse vanity, if you know what I mean. When you
Mm.
care too much about how you're perceived, in a way, there's something vain about that. So sometimes you just kind of, dust yourself off and just go, okay, I'm prepared. I'm going to go.
That
Just
is
do the best
exactly
that
what I
can
tell
and
people.
enjoy it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah,
what I
absolutely.
tell people.
And I totally agree. I totally agree with you that that's what happens.
Yes.
But let me ask you this: why is it that you never ever played in Nigeria or in Africa?
Well, I think
People have asked, and the reason why I'm asking, you know why? Because over the years, lots of people have wondered that you're Nigerian by heritage. I mean, if you're not born in Nigeria, you're still, by heritage you are, and selling multi-million platinum albums, and you have never played in Nigeria, and it's not like you don't have a connection to Nigeria. Your stepfather was the president of Nigeria at one point, and maybe people want to hear in your own words, why haven't you played in Nigeria?
Yeah. Well,
Or in Africa at all, actually?
Yeah. Well, I've done a few things. I did some stuff in South Africa years ago when I released my first solo record. So the record company sent us out there, and we did a lot of, radio interviews and chats and stuff. And so I have been to Africa to do a couple of things. But I in a strange way, if anything, a lot of the time we get, interest from, let's talk about Nigeria to be specific. And there'll be maybe because people know you, and so through you or through some other friends, they'll say, so it comes. There's that kind of little bit of a personal connection.
Yeah.
In that sense. And I'm totally up for doing it. It's not even something I'd shy away from at all. I remember even my dad at the time, he'd asked, we wanted us to come and play at his inauguration.
Yeah.
But even at that level, you see, what happens is a lot of the time, people might think it's just me, but it's not just me. It's a band. Paul is the other half of the band. Everybody has to be on the same page. He would love to do it himself. It's not that he hasn't got anything against Nigeria, actually.
Yeah.
But then you have other people who look after the business side of things. So like your manager and your tour manager. And a lot of the time, and this has happened countless times in the past, there'll be talks going on. And then I don't know what happens. A lot of the time from the other side of the fence, something comes that just makes people on this side of the fence look at them and just go, oh, these guys are not really serious. They don't really want to do this. It's just like, for instance, they asked us to come and play at Nigeria's 50th anniversary. 50th centenary
celebrations,
Yes, at that time. And I remember, so there were talks going on and all this sort of stuff. I'm not privy to the talks. All I do is I encourage people on my side of the fence. So I'd say to my manager, I'll say to the tour manager, make it happen. Oh, I'd love to do it. You'd enjoy it. I'm always boasting about how much of a good time they'll have when they go to Nigeria. Yeah, I know people there.
Yeah.
It'd be great. It would be like a little holiday, really, blah, blah, blah. So everybody's always up for it. But then when something like the person they're talking to on the other side of the fence, close to the last hurdle of making it happen, signing the deal, when they turn around and say to your manager, oh, actually, you know what? Tunde should be doing it for free. You guys should be doing it for free because he's
Nigerian.
He's the son of a boy.
All of a sudden, when that happens, and it happens a lot, what happens is everybody on my side of the fence, even they start looking at me like, oh, you guys you're clowns. You're not serious. Because they don't have to deal with that sort of talk when they're talking to people in Australia or Singapore
or Brazil or Dubai.
Yeah, or Dubai. Do you see what I mean? So that what I would say is you need to ask the people in Nigeria why.
I happen to know. It's happened a few times. It's fallen through, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that on the Nigerian end of things, they take the piece for the proverbial piece about the fact that as a Nigerian you're supposed to be you're supposed to do things for free, not realizing that it's a business, that this is the Lighthouse Family. This is not, and even if it was you, it's still a business. If it's still a brand. So whatever it is, it's, if you're, I mean, whatever. I remember someone talked to me, I spoke to me about, this is about 10, 12 years ago, and said, I think I mentioned it to you, or I'm not sure I did anyway, but I said to them, the minimum set of number of people that will come on this will probably be about, because it's Tunde, he'll try to reduce the number of people on this and come about 10 of them or something. And he goes, oh, why can't he just come by himself and play on a CD? I was like, oh God, when am I even going to start with this guy?
So are you saying that one of the major problems or one of the barriers that you haven't been able to overcome when it comes to playing in Nigeria is the fact, one, they don't want to pay you for your services. They expect you to do it for free.
Definitely for one.
That's one of the things. Maybe not everybody says, oh, do it for free. But you might as well do it for free if they're asking you to do it for close to that.
For something that won't even cover the cost of travel and other expenses.
Travel, other expenses. And the other thing is, because Lighthouse Family, I mean, we've been around now 20-something years. It's such an established brand that everybody associated with the brand, both our agents and management, and even record company, everybody's really careful about what you do with that brand. And well, let me say, even us, first and foremost, us. I can't go and even that's what they try to get you to do, to go to somewhere like all the way to Lagos. And I've seen some of those sort of shows when they recruit, and they don't really look good. They're just a bit pony. And start singing to a backing track on a CD.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I wouldn't do it. Nobody in my team would be happy for me to do that. They wouldn't, they just, because it devalues the brand, which has taken a long time.
Maybe what I should have done every time that they asked me was to have sent them a CD with a video of you.
Yeah.
Because I think really, you were in Singapore recently you went to play at the Formula One. How was that?
Yeah, that was amazing. The Grand Prix, yes. I mean, I've got friends, we've got mutual friends who are really into Formula One. I've never really been into it.
I don't understand.
He's hugely into Formula One.
Yes, quite a few
but
of them.
I think going there for the first, and they took us out on the track, in front of Lewis Hamilton's car and stuff like that, just before the race started, all these sort of things. I think if you go the first time, being there and seeing the smell of those engines and the rubber when they speed past you, it's actually quite an exciting
exhilarating
thing. But it was a lot of fun. We did 2 different gigs on 2 different stages. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It was amazing. It was amazing.
So I have a couple of questions. I have a couple of questions, okay?
Yes.
One is, okay, when your mom, my aunt,
Mhm.
saw you for the first time, maybe playing in front of a grand audience, I'm sure from what you said, she told you, hey, this is a hobby, right? How was that experience? Were you able to win her over? How was it? What was it like?
Yes, I mean, I think, to be honest,
she was right next to me because we brought her to the concert for the first for the road to the show. We had been to a few together prior to that. These were small venues, really small venues. But the Royal Albert Hall, when we all went, and she was sitting, and we had a box, and I could see tears in her face. And she was smiling, and Auntie just couldn't stop smiling. It was
that's my son. That's my son.
It was, and especially afterwards, and everybody came to congratulate her. The record company, I remember the Polydor chairman came in to say hello to her. Everybody, just the agents, and then we went backstage, and then we were eating all these canopies. She couldn't eat. Me, of course, I was jumping around. You'd have thought me I was the guy. A couple of friends and myself, we were just bouncing. Oh God, it was an amazing experience. But she after that, I think that was the first time and when we were going home, I remember she was saying, well, you know what? And she went spiritual. It was like, well, nobody can stop anybody's destiny. And if this is what he wants to do, then that's fine. And in my own mind, I was in my head, me, I was thinking to myself, Auntie, come on, you can see the money now. Of course, you will say that now.
Okay, so that was from your point of view. What was the conversation that went between you and her
afterwards?
Afterwards,
Yeah, I mean, Ayo was right. I think that particular gig was afterwards. That was the gig that you could see that she had turned that corner in her mind as well.
Okay.
And it was the first time that you could just see, it's a bit like when you want to fly a kite, you're running around. You remember when you're kids, you run around. There's one point you let go of the kite and it soars up.
Yeah.
It was one of those kind of moments that you could tell that she was like, okay, now I see it. Now I understand. He's in good hands.
I don't have to worry. Yeah.
I don't have to worry. Yes.
Yeah.
But that was definitely and it was to be honest with you, like you said, when something like that happens, or when there's a moment like that between, I don't know, a parent and a child or friends, really nothing needs to be said because there's just a total silent understanding. There's like a lot more is communicated in the silence. Than if you were to explain and say, oh, you see now, do you get it now? It was like she totally understood it. It was after that, it was like, I had her blessing to just carry on doing what I was doing.